Graham Potter's been given the ultimate vote of confidence at West Ham. And I don't mean one of those loaded votes of confidence where basically they say, oh, the manager's safe for now, but, or anything like that. Or you get those votes of confidence where a board will come out and they'll back a manager shortly before they sack him. That stuff isn't going to happen. This is unequivocal backing of the manager, to the extent that Graham Potter could lose all the remaining games this season, even lose against Ipswich, and he would still be here next season. In fact, he'll still get to start next season. In actual fact, I think even if Graham Potter turns out to be a complete disaster, he'll still get until Christmas. And I think maybe if West Ham are in the bottom 5 at Christmas, then, and only then, will they consider doing something about it. We've seen enough of the West Ham board over the years to know how they react and how they act in such situations. Now, you'll generally get things that get leaked that, oh, no manager can lose 5 games in a row. You sometimes get to the situation with a manager who's under pressure where he might be leaked that he's got 3 more games left. We've seen this before. You know, they might lose one of them, draw one of them, and then there's a reset. It's another 3 games. These things can drag on and drag on. But there's no caveat with this. There is none. It is the board are fully behind. I was going to say fully backing. Let me get this absolutely right. To say that the board are fully backing the manager, we need to see that. And I guess the manager will need to see that, because backing really means we're going to give you the money and I think to an extent the infrastructure that you're going to need to bring in the players that you think are required to replenish this squad. They've given their support, they've given their public and private backing to him. I think it would be fair to say that there's probably some reservations because, let's be fair, results have not been good. The results have not been good at all. And I think they might obviously be worried that maybe they might have made a mistake here, but they're nowhere near getting rid of him. And this is what you hear. It doesn't matter if you lost all the rest of the games this season. It doesn't mean that they wouldn't be worried about it, but he ain't getting sacked. You get the general idea. And I think when it comes to that, I mean, I've got serious concerns. I mean, I have major concerns about what's going on behind the scenes, about the board's ability to put in an infrastructure to buy players, and the ability to deliver not just what Graham Potter needs, but what any manager is going to need to thrive. I'm concerned about that. And I'm concerned about Graham Potter's abilities as a coach, it has to be said. And I'm also concerned about him and Carl McCauley's lack of experience in bringing in players. Bearing in mind, we got rid of Tim Stight and we've not replaced Tim Stight, and it seems like they're happy to carry on as they are. I'm sure you'd have seen the reports yesterday that West Ham were advertising on LinkedIn for data support analysts, and which is what, ironically, what Carl McCauley used to do before he got promoted to head of recruitment. I think I will chill out on that. I'll chill out on that totally once I see we've signed a couple of players. So I think it's really, really easy to get rid of those concerns. And I think once I've seen we've signed a couple of them, a couple of our targets, I'll know that, number one, we're targeting players. Number two, that we're able to get the deals over the line. That's the main thing for me, is getting the deals over the line. I think that's difficult. I think if you're going to get, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I think if you're going to get rid of your director of football and you're going to try and not use agents, you're going to struggle to get a deal over the line. I'll chill out. I'll chill out on that totally. And actually, I'll start to have a little bit more faith for next season. I think my biggest fear is the situation that we're in at the moment, where Potter's clearly unable to get a real tune out of the current squad, regardless of whose fault that is. Right? It doesn't matter whether it's Potter's fault for not being able to get a tune out of them or not being able to man management. It doesn't matter whether or not it's actually the bad attitude of the players. It doesn't matter whether we made mistakes bringing a lot of these players in. If this is basically more or less the group of players he's got next season, it doesn't matter whose fault it is. It's clear that it's difficult to get a tune out of them. So I think for me, we're going to need to bring in new players. I think most people would agree with that. And I am hopeful that if that happens, he can start to repair a lot of the stuff that's going on in the team. And it is only hope. I mean, I did think from an attacking point of view, the right side really functioned okay against Tottenham. I think there was a partnership in possession between Todibo and Wan-Bissaka that was building there. I think Wan-Bissaka's going to build an understanding with Jarrod Bowen. I'm not too concerned from an attacking point of view from that right-hand side. Defensively, it might be slightly different, but then you've got the problem on the left-hand side, where actually we can't attack at all. And I would also, suggest that we're not too good through the middle. So a third of the team is all right. Maybe when Potter gets all the players he needs, he's going to be able to fix the middle and he's going to be able to fix the left-hand side. And if that happens, as I've said before, I think we'll be okay next season. I mentioned that I thought we'd be okay next season, and a few people said that's not enough. I agree. I'm not suggesting okay is enough. But at the moment, I'm so concerned about next season and how close we're going to be to those newly promoted teams that actually I'd probably take okay. That's how much I'm concerned about it. There's not a lot of evidence at the moment to suggest that we're going to thrive. There is none, and that's why we go back to the blind faith, and I think I'm going to have some blind faith with this and blind faith with Graham Potter. Before I go any further, this video is sponsored by Surfshark. Who are Surfshark? Surfshark are a VPN. What's a VPN? It's something you're probably going to need to protect the very device that you are watching this video on, be it your mobile phone or your laptop or even your home computer. Never have we have been more hackable, and for that reason you need to make sure that everything you do is protected, no more so than if you use banking apps, as we all do. My local high street bank is closed. There's literally not one there anymore. They closed it down. I'm not joking. They closed it down and they put a Greggs there. There you go. Very nice if you want a steak slice. Not so good, I'm afraid to say, if you want to go and actually do some proper real banking. You're going to have to use your phone. If you're out and about, you're using your phone, you're at risk, and that's why you're going to need a VPN. We've got a deal for you now which is going to cover all your devices, be it, as I say, your mobile phone, your laptop, your computer, anything, your Fire Stick, anything you're going to want to use. This will cover it all. We've got 4 months free. 4 months free. And a 30-day money-back guarantee, so it's a try before you buy. The link is in the description below, so click that, and then you'll get the discount by using that link. Or just go on to Surfshark and use the discount code HammersChat, all one word. Right, back to Graham Potter. I want to get behind this guy. I really do. I want to see more. It's difficult when he's making substitutions. Like he does, which I do think are overly sometimes negative substitutions, but I want to give him a chance. Maybe that's not the case when he'll get his players, but it is hard when you're seeing Guilherme and he's getting left on the bench. You've also got to do some mental gymnastics with this stuff. If you're going to try and believe that this is someone that wants to do attacking substitutions, then that doesn't really. They don't really match. I think he's overly defensive with his substitutions, but I suspect that's going to be a hallmark of his time at West Ham. However long he's at West Ham, I think we'll always be frustrated with that. I think the thing is, can we get the team functioning? He plays a pretty pragmatic style of football. You've got to win when you do that. You can play. It's not just me that's saying it. It is boring. The football is boring. We don't attack too much. You can do that, but you've got to get results. When it's not getting results, it's a tough watch. But I do think within the parameters of his ideology, I think if he gets better players, I do think we'll be okay, as I mentioned earlier on in the video. I do. And I want to get behind him, and I just need to see a little bit more promise. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I think all we can really do is hope for the best. I think we're probably going to have to watch the remainder of the season from behind the sofa, basically, wincing at it a little bit. It's a tough watch, but I do understand why the board are backing him, because as far as I can see, they've made two errors. I think in appointing Potter, I think they made 2 errors, and it remains to be seen if, I guess some people are still open-minded on whether Potter is or is not, and I stand to be corrected. I would really, really love to be corrected on it, but there's no point in me harping on about what he's doing badly all the time, and he's not going to go. He's not going to go. It's as simple as that. So I'm going to try for the remainder of the season to look at positives as much as I can. But I am trying. I'm trying damn hard to look for those positives, because at the moment I don't particularly believe them, if I'm absolutely honest. I said the other day, that a couple of people took offence that I made the comparison between Graham Potter and Avram Grant. Look, and called it harsh. I don't think it's harsh. I just don't. I don't. I've got nothing against Graham Potter. I'm sure he's well, I hear. No, I'm sure. I hear he's a really, really good guy. Players really like him. He's very friendly, lovely family man. I think if I was criticising that stuff, it would be harsh. I think at the moment I come on this channel and I can't make a sporting comparison, and it gets described as harsh or hatred. Man, that's really hard because it's nowhere left to go. All I've done is I've compared one West Ham coach with other West Ham coaches, and that's all I've done. And at the moment, I'm afraid that is sort of, if you look at his statistics so far after 15 games, that's sort of where he's at. You are comparing him to Grant, you are comparing him to Roda. I can't compare him to the best West Ham managers because he's not done anything yet. Now, I hope that he's gonna turn that around. I really, really do. And I want. It's not easy. I don't like watching his press conferences. He's clearly a man that's struggling. But I hope with him and with McCauley, I'm not sure we ever had a chance of getting Dan Ashworth to replace Tim Stuyton, but that was batted away. They very much said we don't want to do that. We're a happy ship. We're happy to do it. So there is a risk. West Ham are taking a risk at the moment by having, by having Graham Potter and Carl McCauley, who have really never been involved in negotiating transfer deals at all, to go and do it. And at a time we're going to do so many. I'm worried about that. You know that. But he's not going. He's staying. And I just think, do I think it's a risk at the moment? Yes, I do. Do I like it? Not really. I still think, had he have just been on a 6-month contract as a caretaker manager, he wouldn't be offered the job for next season because he's just shown nothing to warrant getting the job. But he's not. He signed a 2.5-year deal. So, we're stuck with him. That's the truth of the matter. We are stuck with him. So we've got to hope for the best. That doesn't mean if we get turned over by Ipswich, I'm not going to moan about it, by the way. But I guess there's one thing we all have to do, and that is, even if you don't have faith, is place a lot of hope in the fact that we can get it right in this transfer window. The longer it goes on, the more I think we're so reliant on the transfer window. The transfer window makes or breaks next season. And whilst it's not great, I think, okay, if he gets his players, things will be okay. I do honestly think it's a choice between okay and struggle. So at the moment, I would take okay. Been quite buoyed by some of the targets we've been linked with. I think that's quite good. But we're going to have to be canny. We're going to have to be savvy. We're going to have to really, really play this next transfer window very, very cleverly indeed.